Europe, a continent located in the northern and eastern hemisphere of the Earth. It is bordered by the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea, a landmass covering over 10 million square kilometers, or roughly 2% of the Earth's surface. With a combined population of just over 743 million people, Europe stretches across several nations with distinct cultures, customs, and constitutions. Considering Europe is made up of several countries, it will be difficult to truly predict just how much the population will change in the next 30 years, but we certainly can try. Now, before we continue, I'd like you all to know I make new videos on Thursdays and Sundays every week, so please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more great content. According to the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, the European population will decline by millions over the next few decades, and is already declining in countries like Poland. Another important aspect of Europe which will see dramatic change is religion. According to data projections, the UK, France, Macedonia, and the Netherlands won't be Christian majority countries in the year 2050. This is largely due to the growing acceptance of atheism among the younger demographic. There are already a few countries which have an atheist majority, such as the Czech Republic and Estonia. The Christian population in general is projected to decrease significantly from over 553 million known Christians in 2010 to 454 million in 2050. Islam, on the other hand, is growing rapidly across Europe, with modest estimates projecting Muslims to compose about 10% of Europe's population in the next 3 decades. The European Space Agency has set out to complete several ambitious projects in the next 30 years, including planetary orbiters for Mercury and Jupiter, a surface mission for Mars, and even a sun-observing satellite which should launch early next year. Perhaps their most ambitious project is their plan to build a moon village by the year 2030, and construction of this habitat could begin as early as sometime within the next 5 years. The ESA's plan is to send large, specialized 3D printers to the moon using their heavy lift launchers. Once they arrive, these 3D printers will begin construction of these habitats using materials sourced from the moon. This lunar base will serve as a refueling point for future manned missions to further planets like Mars, and would also provide astronauts with a good sense of what it would be like to live away from the Earth's protective geomagnetic field. The European Union today binds its 28 member states to an internal single market through a standardized system of laws that apply to every one of its members. Thus far, the Union has ensured peace and stability within the region, but there is this lingering question asked by many Europeans as to whether the European Union is still relevant today. Movements like Brexit show that some people feel this pact signed decades ago by member states may quickly be reaching obsolescence. On the other hand, there are those who feel the EU should expand further, bringing a tried and trusted system to the rest of Europe. So the question here is, what lies in the EU's future? Broken up or enlarged significantly? On that debate, the outcome seems to tilt towards the partial dissolution of the EU at some point in the next 30 years. And although that may sound crazy, there are quite a few facts which back it up. As stated before, cultural differences are profound and deeply sensitive to the future of the European Union. In France, for example, there is great resentment among citizens about the dominance of the English language. It is so serious that it is illegal to play too many English songs on the radio. The migrant crisis has seen millions of refugees and economic migrants flood Europe from Africa and the Middle East for a variety of reasons such as poverty, climate change, and ethnic strife. Experts estimate tens of millions more will make their way to Europe over the next 2 decades. Due to recent terrorist attacks, an initial welcome has turned into fear as the political class across Europe have begun to seek more nationalistic approaches towards migrants. Even Luxembourg's foreign minister has warned that the migrant crisis could lead to the collapse of the EU. Also, it is simply not possible to maintain economic unity and a single monetary policy among a collection of states. especially when each of these states sets their own fiscal policies. So to recap everything we've discussed so far, Europe will become even more diverse in its culture and ethnicity. The continent will pursue ambitious space projects which could greatly improve our understanding of this universe. And finally, if the European Union doesn't find a way to deal with its financial and migrant crisis, it could very well lead to the end of a unified Europe as we see today.